Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday, November 16th. The dry and chilly weather pattern in the eastern part of the country continues. It looks like it'll continue right into the middle part of next week, Thanksgiving week. There will be a western Atlantic low developing this weekend, but it looks like that'll be kind of forced to turn to the north and east and head on out to sea without ever really affecting the east coast. That large high pressure system that we've been following for the last several days continues to reside over the northeastern part of the country into eastern Canada, and that will in effect force that Atlantic low to head out to sea and not affect the mid-Atlantic coast. Really, all the activity in the world of weather over the next several days will be along the west coast from California all the way up north through Oregon and Washington. There will be a series of Pacific storms moving ashore over the next several days. Let's take a look at the latest surface map. And here we have high pressure again all the way from the Ohio Valley up to the New England area and all the way up into eastern Canada. And that is the main weather player, not only here in the mid-Atlantic region, but really the entire eastern third of the country. There's a weak front here on the Midwest, not causing all that much in the way of precipitation, with another large high pressure behind that. A series of storms will pound the northwest coast over the next several days, and rain could even make it all the way down into southern California later today and tonight, and they'll have unsettled cool weather in the LA region, for example, right through the upcoming weekend. But basically dry weather from the east coast all the way out into the Rockies. Denver hasn't had any precipitation for days, and it looks like no precipitation in sight for that region here. And again, there will be an Atlantic low, but it looks like it'll just stay well out to sea as it heads to the north and east over the upcoming weekend. Here's the latest infrared satellite loop from the SSEC Wisconsin website. Just a lot of clear skies out here in the middle part of the country. There's a little area of light rain here in South Jersey and across the Delmarva Peninsula, pretty much falling apart, but a few clouds associated with that. Partly sunny skies from Philadelphia north and east to New York City. For the rest of today, it'll clear pretty shortly in the Washington, D.C. area, so that they'll be mostly sunny for this afternoon. There is a meteor shower, by the way, late tonight. It peaks in the pre-dawn hours, let's say around 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. These are the annual mid-November Leonid meteor showers, and they favorable viewing conditions are likely as these skies will clear, at least to partly cloudy to mostly clear conditions expected up and down the I-95 corridor if you're interested in viewing that meteor shower after midnight tonight. And again, lots of clear skies out in the middle part of the country, and the dry and chilly weather pattern will continue here in the east for the next several days. Meanwhile, lots of clouds out here along the eastern part of the Pacific Ocean. A nice spin in the clouds right here off the western Canadian coast. This is one of the many storms headed into the Pacific Northwest over the next several days, and that will produce not only heavy rains along coastal regions, but heavy snows in the higher elevations from central California all the way up north through the Pacific Northwest. Well, let's look at a couple of GFS forecast maps for the next few nights. This is from last night's Zero-Z GFS model run for this evening. High pressure, no surprise here, high pressure continues to dominate the weather picture here later on today and tonight. Really, the entire eastern half of the nation is under the influence of this high. A little bit of precipitation here off the southeast coast, but again, for the most part, that looks like that'll head on out to sea over the next few days. Just basically dry weather here for much of the nation, with all the action rain-wise and snow-wise coming along the Pacific Northwest coast. Here's the forecast map for tomorrow night, Saturday evening, and here's that enhanced precipitation area off the southeast coast. But again, strong high just sits here in the northeastern part of the country, and it'll in effect block this from headed toward the coast, and instead it'll head on to the north and east out right into the middle part of the Atlantic. Basically just dry conditions here for much of the nation. Again, tomorrow night, the main area of activity will be along the west coast, where there'll be quite a few storms moving in over the next several days, right through the middle part of next week. Some heavy rain totals right along the coast from central California on north, and even down into southern California. They can have some showers right through the upcoming weekend. One last map. This is for Sunday evening, and basically the same old pattern here. High pressure is still sitting stationary over the eastern part of Canada or northern New England, and has a dominating effect here in the entire eastern part of the country. All the moisture here off the southeast coast just kind of shunted out to sea, and it'll continue as a dry and chilly pattern right into the middle part of next week here in the eastern states, with again all the rainfall to speak of over the next several days right along the west coast. So that's it for now. Looks like a decent weekend with a Leonid meteor shower peaking late tonight, early tomorrow morning. Stay tuned for more on that later on today at thesiweather.com. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.